Today we're going to continue our series on tips for beginners. Today, strings. There are so many. What do they all do? What does it all mean, Basil? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to come back. We're going to go over all the basics. Let's rip! So we're going to start with acoustic strings, okay? Because there is a difference between acoustic strings and electric strings. Beginners may not know that. Okay, so for an acoustic string, they come in two different basic metal types, 80-20 bronze and a phosphor bronze. Phosphor bronze almost look like a penny. They're a little darker color, and they are a lot more trebly, whereas 80-20 look a little tanner. And they went to the tanning bed, got a tan, and they are generally brighter sounding. So putting them on an acoustic guitar, if you need to brighten it up, usually go with phosphor. If you need to get it darker, a little bit bassier, 80-20. Now the numbers on here, what are these numbers for? 1253, what does that mean? Okay, the bigger the number, the thicker the string. Okay, and it has advantages and disadvantages. The thicker the number, the bigger the string is going to sound a lot more full. You're going to have a lot more low end come out of your acoustic guitar, but it's also going to be a lot harder on your fingers and a lot harder on your guitar. You may run the risk of needing to have your guitar adjusted if you go with too heavy of a string, especially if you've got a lighter gauge on there now. Whereas a bit smaller number, this was 12 to 53, this is 11 to 52. These are going to be a little lighter, going to be a little easier on your finger, but you may lose a little bit of bass. Okay? Now before we move on to electric strings, obviously there are many different brands and they make many different kinds, but I just showed you, I'm just going to show you these two today. We have D'Addario, which is a good common string. Most factories put these on right from the get-go on their guitars because it's a really good string, lasts a good long time, keeps the brightness. This brand is Elixir, and maybe you've seen our other videos on Elixir. What they do is they put a coating on the string. You know how the strings have the grooves, they have the windings on them. What they do is they put a coating on there so that the oil and the dirt and the dead skin from your fingers don't get in those grooves and make the string dead. So they last way longer and sound way brighter than a regular string. Okay? Alright, moving right along into it's electric, boogie woogie woogie. Same concept for electric guitars. Most notable difference is the G string in an electric set is not wound. It is plain like the E and the B, whereas on an acoustic set the G is wound to keep that thickness. Okay, so these are going to be a lot easier to play. Now you'll notice right off the bat that the electric strings are way thinner than what an acoustic string would because they don't have to, they have an amplifier that's going to amplify the sound, whereas an acoustic guitar is an amplifier. So they don't need as quite a big a string, and it's also much easier on your fingers. But the same with the technology applies, and the same theory applies. The smaller the number, the smaller the string. Okay? Then I brought back, again, two different brands. I brought back an Ernie Ball, very popular, and D'Addario, very popular. Inexpensive guitar strings sound great on your guitar and make it sound like new again. You'll notice if you play for a while, maybe your guitar just doesn't sound as good as it did. 9 times out of 10 it just needs a string change, and that's no problem. We can do that here for you. We're happy to do it. Come see our guitar tech, Tim Brown. Okay, all of these strings have a ball end on them. What I mean by that is at the end of the string there's a ball on it to stop it from pulling through the guitar. That's how it anchors into the guitar. On a classical guitar, a nylon string guitar, maybe you've seen them, guys play classical guitar, flamenco style guitar, they tie onto the bridge. You actually have to know how to run them through and tie them and then interlock them together so that they don't pull through. So a lot different, and they're made out of nylon instead of steel. So the strings that would be steel, plain steel on a guitar, on a regular acoustic guitar, are nylon, and then the 3 wound strings are nylon with steel over them. So they're very easy on the finger, but they do have a lot of tension, so sometimes they are harder to press down than some of the others. Okay? Now, going back to electric, There are certain strings that you would use for certain kind of music, okay? If you're just tuning standard, usually anything in a 9 to 10 gauge is great for you, but I know a lot of you guys out there are coming in all the time saying, "Oh, my guitar's buzzing, it's flappy." Well, what strings are you using? Well, the ones that came on it, okay? Well, how are you tuning? Drop L, drop C, something that's just way detuned, and that string just will not work. So what you have to do is, if anything lower than standard tuning, you have to make the strings thicker because you're loosening the tension on them. So a looser string is going to be floppy and vibrate, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you get a string that's suitable for your tuning. And if you have questions, ask one of us. We'll be more than happy to get you the right set of strings. Just make sure that when you're picking out strings, you know the kind of guitar that you have, the sound that you're wanting, and maybe how you're going to tune. That way we can get the right string for you. Okay? Thanks again for watching. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what strings you use. Can't wait to see. All right. Till next time. You're still here. You stuck around to the end. Cool. Score. Bonus. Dig it. The next 6 people that come in and tell me they watched this video will get a free set of licks or strings. We have 3 acoustic and 3 electric. All you gotta do is come in and go, "I watched your video. Where's the bald-headed thing? I had it in the intro. You missed it. But come in and tell me, hey, I saw your video. I want a set of strings, and I'm gonna give them to you. No questions asked. That's it. That's just for watching to the end. You should watch all of mine to the end. There's some pretty interesting things you missed. Go back and rewatch them. You missed some stuff, I'll tell you. You're still here. It's over. Go home."
Yeah.